Well, hello everybody. This is John Piketell. I'm the Channel Sales Manager for BPA Solutions here in Seattle. And I would like to welcome you all and thank you for taking the time to attend this exciting and informative webinar of moving beyond Excel spreadsheets. As a note, this webinar is being recorded and all attendees are muted. You can submit questions at any time over the chat panel and we'll answer them at the end of the webinar through our Q&A period. Just to go over the agenda, we're going to talk about our webinar goals, give you a little background on BPA solutions with a company overview, what does a typical QMS look like, and a live demo by Belinda, and then we'll summarize and then open it up for a Q&A, and so entering those questions in the chat room is important. Our webinar goals, teach you how to, of course, transform your Excel files into a collaborative SharePoint-based QMS. Drive productivity gains, business values, ROI by moving from Excel to electronic QMS. Being compliant with ISO 9001:2015 or any other standards that you may be using. The BPA Solutions is a software development company. We have partners worldwide implementing our solutions for customers in many industry sectors. Our headquarters is in Switzerland, and we recently opened the office here in Seattle, Washington. What does a typical QMS system look like? Well, quality managers have to deal with a lot of Excel files, paper forms, database systems, and many Excel files are needed to track different processes. How do you get the full picture of an audit with its findings and actions or risk? There's no easy way. You need to manually aggregate or copy data. It's not effective. It's even more complex if you have many locations and plants. The main problem is that quality improvement processes are closely interrelated and Excel files cannot relate to things together. Consequently, the consequences of working with disconnected Excel files is you miss the whole picture. In this case, continuous improvement is hard to achieve. BPA brings the integrated solution to manage all aspects of your quality, health, security, environmental, and risk management systems into one or many locations. The tool brings a PDCA approach to each QMS process. As a result, you get the full picture and drive continuous improvement. Because of the universal plan, do, check, and act approach, even though BPA quality was built to meet the new ISO 9001:2015 standard, it will meet any other quality standards as well. BPA quality. Integrated is great, but integrated plus collaborative is even better. Thanks to SharePoint, BPA brings all technologies together to make your QMS collaborative and participative. BPA plans to work for you. In an example of an 8D problem-solving process, users can add pictures to describe the problem. Responsible persons will get automatic tasks and alerts throughout the process. Workflows rules will make sure actions are effective prior to closing the process. Documents can be appended by drag and drop. The 8D capital reports can be automatically generated. SharePoint is the world's #1 collaborative Microsoft technology. It brings huge benefits like native document management, native Office integration and synchronization, native embedded workflow tools, powerful search, reporting tools, connectors, audit trails, and versioning features, etc. SharePoint brings the needed foundation for QMS systems. However, SharePoint is not a QMS system. BPA has developed an out-of-the-box and ready-to-use QMS solution. BPA Solutions has developed 30-plus Lego bricks embedded in with the products where power users can have full control to compose their QMS a la carte. BPA drastically improves the UI and user experience with SharePoint. It's cost-effective, easy to use, gives all capabilities with Microsoft technology. Now I'm going to hand it over to Belinda for the presentation, and we'll be back shortly. Thank you. Belinda?
Merci beaucoup, John. A very warm welcome to all of you. I am very enthusiastic to spend the next 30 minutes showing how you could benefit from our integrated SharePoint QMS solution. I have experienced many quality management systems during our various project implementations. Mostly of our customers were moving from Excel and paper-based systems. So without further words, let's dive into the live demo and discover how we can move beyond Excel spreadsheets. The solution is ready to use after installation on your SharePoint server or once it has been provisioned in the cloud. Power users and site owners have full control to change the look and content. So this includes the left bar navigation, the pages, the tabs, buttons, forms, fields, all are completely configurable with no code. Everything that needs to be changed is easily accessed over the browser. As a power user, I can edit any page. So if we take this home page and we want to revert my pending tasks and put them before the workflow tasks, I have an easy way to edit this page and do this modification without being a developer. So you will get appropriate training to do this type of changes by simple drag and drop. We can also add content to the pages, taking advantage of one of the 30+ Lego bricks or web parts that John mentioned in the introduction. Typically here we could grab a BPA chart, add them on the page and do the needed customization. So I am connected as a user having full access, so that's why I will see also the whole navigation. In the green part, there are internal and external stakeholder management, typically customers, suppliers, subcontractors. In the red part, we will have the process map with the quality processes, and to meet the ISO 9001:2015 new requirements, the context of organization, and the SWOT. The blue part is our Deming cycle, plan, do, check, act, really this improvement process. And linking back to the title of our webinar title, the non-conformance, the CAPA, audits, these are usually today separate, isolated Excel files. We have in the yellow part the risk management, the preventive way of act. That's where we will identify, assess, treat, and monitor our risks. A QMS should have also a document management, so we do have an option here to track your procedure, policies, any other document along the QMS. For those that track equipments, you can have an equipment list with the maintenance and calibration down here. And of course, at the end, we all want to get statistics and live reports out of the tool. If we have a look at the home page, when a user is welcomed in the tool, the What's New section gives a summary of all important changes recently done in the QMS. In the middle part, I will see my tasks that have either been attributed automatically by a workflow or where myself or other colleagues have assigned me a task. On the bottom, we will find a place where every item in the QMS can become one of your favorite to gain immediate access to the information without yourself as a user being the main interactor. Like the task is assigned to you, but here are actions that you want to make sure to follow up and have an easy access. So I want to split my demo into 5 parts. We are going to look at how can we easily as an end user navigate through the QMS with the process map and the org chart for responsibilities. Second part will be the life cycle of a non-conformance. Then we move over to audits module. Then to our preventive thinking, the risk management, and I will close off the demo with document management. So let's start with the process map. That's a very ideal way for end users to explore and navigate through the QMS. We can easily replace, of course, this process map with your process map and build the links behind. I'm going to drill down in the operational execution and more deeply have a look into the HR management process. This page gives you an overview, a 360-degree overview about the process. At the beginning, the user will see a summary with the input activities and outputs, and also how this process is linked among the others. With one click, he will filter the compliance documents and can, let's say, easily open what the operating HR process looks like. The same page is very interesting for process owners because they can overview what's going on the risk side. Let's say here, if I'm a process owner, I have a risk, employer liability risk that is with a descending trend. So we have this risk matrix which can be adjusted to any risk methodology like FMEA or others. If I want to go more deeply into this risk, because I see we have a trend, I see who is managing this risk, and I can see in the bottom what has been done so far. So I notice there is no control in place. There has not been any mitigation strategy nor an action was taken. So I could, as a process owner, go ahead and add a task for Boris and ask him to set up a periodically control. This task will show up in the home page as I introduced you previously, and it will also be sent an email. So that's typically something that makes your QMS collaborative and participative. That's not possible with Excel. You would go manually in your Outlook and send an email communication to Boris. Let's go back to the quality process just by clicking on its link, and let's have a look at the KPIs. That's how I can make sure that my process is working fine by regularly also tracking down the KPIs. Here again, we see that the trend on our monthly measurement goes down. So I could have exactly the same approach like before with the risk, drill down into the KPI, see what's going on, and maybe assign a task to the KPI owner, if it's not myself. That is one way of accessing and navigating through the quality process. Another thing is end user may more likely find themselves through responsibilities, so typically an org chart. And if I keep my track for HR, I will drill down to the responsibility of the human resources process. We see filtered down here that we have 3 identified sub-processes and among the HR management process I showed previously. We can go a step further and declare the collaborators, so the responsibles of the process, and I can also drill down to Boris and see what other processes he may be owner of, what are his skills and experience, and in the training part, which is also a requirement of ISO 9001, I can track which trainings he has been attending. So both the process map and org chart are great helps to support your efforts to bring the QMS to everyone in your organization. So let's now dive into the improvement process, and I'm going to start with the non-conformance. So again, imagine what you would do usually if you are having today an Excel-based QMS. you would open your Excel file to look at all your non-conformance. Now, with BPA Quality, you are welcomed directly on only the filtered open non-conformance and, of course, have a one-click access to the closed ones. To add a new non-conformance, we can just click on this plus, and now an intelligent form opens where we only see the first important fields that we need to collect while reporting non-conformance. That's of course not possible with a Word document or an Excel document. You always will show to your end users the full form. We can also add a non-conformance over an Outlook plugin that we ship as well. So that could be a way, and a third way could be from a web page form that you host on your website or on a customer partner portal so that your stakeholders enter directly the non-conformance into your QMS system. Now, once the non-conformance is registered, we can trigger a workflow and move the non-conformance through the different steps of its life cycle. There are several options to automate process with SharePoint. If you want power users to be able to create workflows and give a graphical representation, you may want to have a look into SharePoint workflow add-ons. In our demo, we will show an example with Nintex workflows. So this is easily accessible over the title menu, where I can get to the workflow history. So this will give me an option to have a big picture of the workflow. Power users can build these workflows by simple drag and drop. It's fully transparent for end users because the green steps are the completed one. I see the entry time, exit time, and the person that did the step, completed the step, and the yellow one is the current step. So a workflow makes sure that you will go through each step to qualify, investigate, define action plan, measure effectiveness, and to, of course, make sure that all actions that you have taken are closed before you close off your non-conformance. So it's following the AD methodology for bigger non-conformancy. During the workflow, it will automatically distribute the work to the concerned people. So we see here attribution of a task for the action plan. So that's not possible with an Excel file. You would do at every step the email manually. Here the logic is built into the system and you don't think about it's moving further in the background. Let's come back to the non-conformance list, and of course we all are interested also in statistics, real time. So like, imagine you have several locations. What often happens is that you collect the files, maybe quarterly, and then you consolidate them, and finally you build your Excel chart. Here everything is central in SharePoint, and we have an option to build different dashboards, and again these are accessible for power user, site owners, no need of being a developer and put lines of codes. Even end users have an option to move around, and let's look at this chart in another way of presentation. So if I go back to my open non-conformance, what you notice here is we do have these little stars. That's how I bring an item onto my favorites in the home page. We do have an option to quickly select an item and set a follow-up tasks. That's what you are familiar with Outlook. But now I'm going to introduce you also to the search boxes, the advanced filters, where also on a date you could search non-conformances that have been opened between a certain time range. All this can be exported to Excel, even if we want to bring you from Excel to SharePoint, but still in some ways you may want to have an Excel file offline with you. So let's go and search for the broken package non-conformance. Very easily I type a couple of characters and now I can drill down in my detail page. Here you get a 360-degree view of your non-conformance. So it starts with the containment actions. We do have the root causes. Users are guided to find root causes. So we do have suggestions of root causes. This is typically customized by industry, and I can again here search for the people worker factor and just select them and add them to my root cause. In the actions, we will see all the kappas or the action plan. I see who is assigned to, what is the status currently. Again, this would not be so easily possible if we have separate Excel files. We would always have to filter in my actions file to see the related tool ones of my non-conformance. We have tasks and calendars. If needed, they can be synced natively with SharePoint over to Outlook. Now, one interesting part is that if you want to, at the end of the non-conformance, produce an A to D report, you do have a button at the top of the page that will produce a Word document that's based on your templates. We will just tell in which zone we're going to read an information coming from your digital non-conformance. This document can then be transmitted by email to your supplier or other stakeholders. All right, I think it's time, John, to launch a little poll. So we will be interested to see what is your current quality management system. So you will see the questions coming up. So paper, Excel, Word-based. Some of you may already use SharePoint for document management. You may use a QMS system which is part of your ERP system, or you may not have a formal QMS in place, so no defined procedures or policies described. That's fine as well. So thank you for giving us this information. So it was a multi-choice. And it's interesting, of course, to see that a lot of you have Excel and Word-based. So we will continue in our demo and enter into the audit part. So the audit module will allow you to manage any type of audit, like internal audits, ISO, process-related audits, supplier, customer audit. And all this could be displayed on a calendar, and you can give different colors based on the audit type. If we're going to go and look at the completed audits with the compliance value, I have an easy access to there as well. I'm going to have a closer look to the renewal of our ISO 9001:2015. So here it gives me, again, this full view of the audit at one place. When we go ahead and prepare an audit, we may want to use a question library, especially if we do regular audit of our processes. We may want to go and search for operations, questions that are prepared. We can just select them and add them to the audit. Once the audit questions have been prepared, you have the same option like the AD report and merge this to a Word document, and then depending on where you go, you can still take your paper notes, but once you are back at your desk, you have the option then to either scan the report, upload it as an attachment, or the better way of working would be, of course, to online answer the questions. So here we see that for this question we have not totally compliant, and documents were not always actual, and many versions exists at several places. So this would typically be leading to a finding, so a non-conformance. So in one click I can overview the non-conformance for this completed audit, and I see what have been actions taken around this. So again, this is like in the non-conformance, bringing data together from several Excel files. So before closing the demo with compliance documents, I'm going to go and have a look into the risk management. So that's a very interesting part. That's where, again, we register, prioritize, assess, treat, monitor our risks. You see also that you can assign them to a risk source and back to its quality process. The scorecard displays the risk assessment. So we see every period, here is a quarterly assessment. We see the residual risk. So no need, again, of an Excel file, and we have capabilities to mass import existing risks and then set you up with the assessment part. I show once more the risk matrix, where we have the option to identify what's the probability that the risk will occur and what would be, in this period, the impact. As said, it can be customized also to other risk methodologies. Everything that we track and ask our risk owners to follow and manage, we would like to have a quick dashboard. Typical the heat chart, where we will show up all the IDs of the risks, and we can click on them to have a quick overview also about the trend. And if there is anything I'm more interested in, I can open and drill down directly from here into the risk. Let's go back to our risk assessment portfolio and drill down a bit in deeper how we handle risks. So I will search for the transportation risk, very simple with this search boxes over the columns, and look who is assigned to. So that's my risk, and I'm glad to have a control in place. So every 2 months we need to verify transportation conditions. I, however, delegated this control to Forrest, so he every 2 months will go and execute this control. The transportation handling had a bad quarter, just the previous one, so I can have a look about what has been the mitigation strategy, and this will evolve over time. That's also where we can track the dates. Actions, again, you always find the same topics to manage and track your items. And of course, we hope that it's not often happening, but still, if a risk occurs, we can track along the list the different incidents. So again, here you find a 360-degree view of your risk. I'm going to our last topic, which is the document management. This is typically the page for document managers where they add, approve, and publish documents. End user, we have seen, they will more likely enter over the process map or the organization chart, but still they can come here and search for title content. The document library can be tied to an approval process. Here again, it can be shown with the example of our Nintex workflow. If I would want to launch it manually, you can see that again that's a graphical overview where we have a first review and then we go to the approval steps. SharePoint natively will manage the versions. Now end users will not see draft but only published major versions. And we are going to make sure with SharePoint that the user always access the last applicable version. Let's drill down into the document for the production process. We not only track documents with its workflow, but we give more. We give again, we like to say it a 360-degree view of a document, because here we can see how the documents are related to each other. And an important part also from the improvement process are the change requests. And often if you have a change request, it may impact documents. So that's where we can track the connection between a change request and the impact of this particular document. And as well, if end users have any comment about a document or yourself, you want to make sure to capture the information to take a look at before the next revision of this production process. You can just put yourself a note or a task to remember it. One part that you may have noticed is we also track the document links in a visual place, like here the production instruction has an incoming document from the production process and leads out to the quality policy. So this is often sought by the strict quality management document control, so that's where we can answer also with a BPA feature to this documents links. This concludes my overview demo. I will now give the word back to Sean for a short summary before we head over to the Q&A session.
Well, thank you again, Belinda, and thank you for our attendees for being here. In summarizing, I would like to say that an integration or integrated and collaborative digital QMS solution will bring huge benefits to your organization. As you can see, but not only is it saving labor costs and administration costs by reducing paperwork and disconnected files, retyping data, and consolidating data, you're also improving your business continuously because of the clear PDCA picture for each process. Planning and distributing the work to the concerned people, to your stakeholders, with alerts, workflow, and task management, and also engaging all collaborators as part of the QMS and making it more collaborative. Reporting in real time, as well as easing the transition to ISO 9001, 2015, or any other standard that your company is currently using. Would like to open it up to questions, and let's look at the question board and see what we have here. Okay, we have a question here. What are the possible deployment options?
So our solution can be deployed either on-premise if you already use SharePoint internally, or you can go over a subscription through our BPA cloud. We're excited to announce that our Office 365 version will be available in second quarter of 2017. So for those of you that are on Office 365, we will soon have something for you as well.
Okay, here's another question. What SharePoint versions are supported currently?
So the minimum version would be SharePoint 2013 Foundation, which is the free version. We already support SharePoint 2016, and as said, Office 365 will come shortly. We have a question here also, if it's customizable at your end. So, as I said in this introduction, the term I used, power user, means that without being a developer, you have the ability to modify the pages. You can go in the backend SharePoint list, add columns. That's typically something that will be done to meet industry-specific informations.
Okay, I have, what is it, I have a question here. It says, what does it typically cost?
So for the costs, we have pricing available on our website. It will depend on if you go on-prem, if you go subscription-based, if you have the number of users, of course. But if we take a smaller company that needs 20 full users and 100 readers to get access through the process map, the org chart, you will get BPA quality on-prem for less than $200 per user at the one-time cost, and the yearly software maintenance will be a little less than $30 per user per year. So very competitive. So we do have a question about SharePoint 2016 on-premise support. Yes, definitely. Also available for the on-prem version. Is a CRM demo also available via webinar? I see that this attendee, Mike, you have found on our website. We do also have a CRM solution, so we will be organizing a webinar probably later, or we can reach out to you to organize a one-to-one webinar with pleasure. So is the system compatible without Outlook? We are still using GroupWise. So SharePoint will be configured with an email server, or if you are in the cloud, it's all set, and then the email alerts will be sent to the end user declared email address, and then you can collect this email in any email tool.
Okay, well, if you have more questions, you can always email those to us, and we have our possible next steps we'd like to offer you. Demonstration geared towards your particular needs. Please contact us at the websites below or at the phone number below for the Seattle office. Again, thank you for taking the time out of your busy schedules to join us, and I look forward to the rest of your day, and thank you again.